Where are you off to, Gaia?
Oh no, Graphic.
I heard about the failed strike. Our men need exfiltration.
I didn't fail. That plane would have been valuable. Finding the traitor was essential.
Oh no.
It's a distinction.
Won't turn around.
No, they don't. There's no way they kill her.
No. You will look at me.
Ooh.
And you'll ask yourself, are you a leader of Skrulls? Or a worst enemy?
What?
There's no way.
No.
There's no way. There's no way they actually just killed her. There's absolutely no way. What?
I don't believe it.
No, I don't believe that for a second.
This is Tech 2.0, dude.
St. James Church, 1 hour.
I need to speak to Graphic.
Yeah, well, you're talking to me.
Is that who I think it is?
That sounded like Rhodey.
That sounded like,
no.
No, I'm calling bait. That's bait.
That's bait. That's gotta be bait.
You don't understand.
Yeah. 2 wrongs make a right, man.
Wait a minute.
The logic does not follow.
They're most formidable when they're threatened.
Dang.
That's kind of cold.
Common fun.
That is kind of cold. Gosh.
So then Gaia stays with
What
me now,
else?
is it?
Oh, that was with a butter knife, too. Gosh, that's gotta hurt.
My daughter's name
Dude,
stays
he had
out
this-
of your mouth.
Wow.
Ooh.
He had to slam that bad boy.
You got it?
God. You got it.
Gosh. I don't like that. Oh, well, he's got extremists. Our first super. Oh, they're like, what? When can I get that?
Boom, you looking for this?
What'd you think? Just opening thoughts. We'll
I
talk
really
about some big
enjoyed
stuff.
this episode, dude. It's kind of. I think it's one of the trippiest yet. I was expecting a lot of like not knowing what was going on, and I still, even after watching this, I'm like, is that really what happened?
Probably the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things. You can't say it's the biggest thing because there's a lot of stuff that happened in this episode. But one of the biggest things that happened was Gaia died. So she got found out to
allegedly.
She died.
I feel like all the time on this channel, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I can think of 2 instances right off the top of my head. Cad Bane and Tech. Okay, so we can debate whether she's dead or not, but, like, the circumstances leading up into it, like, I feel like I really liked her character because she was working both sides.
No, she was, like, my favorite character so far besides, like, Fury.
Yeah, but it just makes me think, when did she make the turn? Because, like, we saw her talking in the alley to Talos in the first episode, and she still seemed pretty dead set that Gravik was the way to go.
Yeah, we never really saw, like, an exact moment.
Yeah, I just wish we'd have kind of gotten to see like a little bit of a personal struggle with that, because obviously she supports to some extent like what Gravik is doing. Obviously not like what he's doing, but like what he's fighting for, like Skrulls being like grafted into
because they
humanity.
Yeah, because they have been looking for a home.
Yeah.
For decades now, so. I mean, it's understandable that they want to find a home, but obviously Gravik's going about it in a horrible way, so...
Yeah.
I think, I mean...
So I kind of wish we would have gotten to see a little bit more of her, like, personal struggle with that.
Yeah.
I think that could have been really powerful. But, which makes me think, though, actually, I do want to bring this up. We said that Gaia played Talos in the first episode. Because she was like, it'll be the bag spray painted with
yeah.
So do you think she played him in the first episode, and then realized after that happened that she didn't support that anymore? That could have been it.
Yeah, that's true. It's either that or she didn't know.
Yeah.
But she had to have known him. She was like...
She's like second
right
in command.
Yeah, like right below Gravik.
Yeah, she was working both sides. She helps stop the nuclear launch. We
were about an inch away if they wouldn't have found out code word Zachary did. Yeah,
from Gaia, who retrieved it from the fracking pod from the corporal. What's his name again? Bob. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Bob. But she gets it from his fracking pod, and then the code is Zachary. So she does die a noble death. But do you think she's dead?
We had an interesting... It was really your theory, but we kind of talked about this, after we were letting the episode soak in.
Yeah.
Is that she could be dead, but there has to be Amelia Clark out there somewhere.
Yeah, there's an Amelia Clark out. What if it actually is like Amelia Clark, though? Like, think about it, though. Like, think about it. she has to take the form somehow. So who she's taking the form from? Somebody probably in a fracking pod somewhere. So Emilia Clarke does live on in the MCU, even if she technically, even if Gaia is dead. Which I don't want Gaia to die. Obviously, I hope she's still alive. But we were watching some other stuff, some other channels, like in the way that they were talking about this episode, and it does really emphasize the point that anybody's at risk in this.
Yeah,
in this
that's
show.
true.
And they kind of already showed us that with Hill dying. But
yeah,
killing off Emilia Clarke, who they probably had to throw a whole bag at, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
so,
and it's surprising because going into the show, I was like, okay, she's gonna come out of this being like a huge character in the MCU.
Same. I thought so too.
So I think the only way for that to happen still is if the non-Skrull Emilia Clarke is like in a fracking pod, like you said, and she gets powers or something, or I was talking about maybe Talos kind of adopts her as like a
that
daughter,
would be sick. Yeah.
Because maybe he's like, not all Skrulls are this way, and he kind of takes her in.
But so another thing that happened in this episode is at the end, right? Fury's wife Vara, she goes into this bank in England or somewhere, I'm assuming, and she opens a safety deposit box. We reacted to this scene. And pulls out a gun. So obviously we know that from earlier in the episode, she used to be an agent for Fury.
Yeah. So, and the channel we were watching, we usually watch New Rock Stars.
Yeah, our friends.
Pretty much everything that they post, but I would shout out the channel. I can't remember what.
Screen Crush.
Screen Crush.
Yeah.
He made the point that she maybe put it in there because it seems overkill. Mm-hmm. Like, you just put a safe at your house, that way you have access to it if you got intruded.
Home invader, it might be useful.
So there has to be sentimental value to that gun or something. I think that has a bigger part in this than what meets the eye.
Yeah, the way that the guy from Screen Crush kind of said it was that that this was like her putting her past, like burying it almost in a way. So
yeah, I think that's kind of where I align with that. So in that same scene, possibly the biggest reveal is that Rhodey was the one talking to her. He said meet up at
St. James Church.
St. James, yeah. So
James Rhodes.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, is it James or am I just thinking of his name?
Yeah, James Rhodes.
So that. I don't buy into it. I'm not buying into anything at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think Rhodey's a Skrull. I think it's too obvious.
Yeah, I think it is too obvious, and like other channels have mentioned, like our friends New Rock Stars, that it would feel kind of cheap if Rhodey was a Skrull this whole time.
Yeah,
it would make it, like him reacting to Tony's death in an Avengers Endgame kind of feel meaningless. And I think it's an easy thing for him to be the one, because we've seen him in the show. And then Fury, this episode opens up where there's a high-level target in the, or there's a high-level employee in the U.S. government that is a Skrull. I think Rhodey is the obvious choice, and so that's why we said Rhodey's on Skrull Watch last episode. But I'm not. I don't know.
I think they're setting this up, and the thing that I keep clinging to is that Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross is going to be president here shortly.
Yeah,
in the new Captain America movie, so. The current president, something's got to go down. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that in our last episode. So maybe the president could be a Skrull. I mean, that would be about as high up as it goes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just hope it's not... If it's Rhodey, I hope it's recent because, like you said, if he was a Skrull this whole time, I'm like, come on, man.
And it's also kind of a lame reveal, too. That's what the guy at Screen Crush said, that, like, he gets revealed over the phone. Like, in one way, I can understand how that would be kind of sick, because it's like, you can't... Like, they can kind of play with the audio a little bit on their side, like on Disney Plus's side when they're editing. Yeah. Like, they can be like, oh, we can make this sound like Rhodey, but it actually isn't Rhodey. And so they have people tripped up thinking it is, when in fact it's not. Or this really could be somebody who is, like, Rhodey exists and is free. He's not in a fracking pod. And somebody's just impersonating Rhodey too.
Yeah, because
like, there's two Rhodeys that exist right now.
No, I think no matter what, Fury's wife thought she was talking to Rhodey.
Yeah.
So she is involved somewhat.
Yeah.
With Rhodey, and
Gravik.
she thought Rhodey was involved with Gravik.
There's two ways I can view this. One, she got a call from somebody that maybe is like kind of a neutral agent in the field right now. Maybe she heard that Gaia died. Maybe she was close to Gaia. And she wants personal vengeance against Gravik. Maybe that's why she was like, oh, get Gravik on the phone because I want to talk to him. So you can read it that way, or you can read it the obvious way that she's an agent. for Grotto.
Yeah.
It just feels like Rhodey's on Scroll Alert, and that kind of throws me off because I'm like, whenever I was just on the Rhodey Scroll train, whenever we said that first episode, for those of
we
you who
said
watched,
that first episode.
Yeah, we said that. Okay.
Yeah, you called it.
No,
if it happens.
Yeah, if it happens. But whenever I said that, then I was like, this is kind of like flying
It
under
was
the
low
radar.
key.
Yeah, it was low key. So I'm like, I'm on a train all by myself right now. We're like, both of us were, because you said the same thing. But whenever everybody started joining the train, I'm like, nah. I'm like, it's just too obvious. If everybody else picks up on it, obviously we here at BoomShot are incredible, and we know what we're talking about. But if everybody else picks up on it, it's too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could go either way. Still, I mean, obviously we're just messing around. We were on it early when it was more under the radar, but I think intentionally they're making it seem more and more like Rhodey's a scroll to throw you off.
I could see it, but I could also not see it.
Yeah, I think my prediction at this point in time is that Rhodey is a scroll. Like you said, there is a Rhodey scroll.
Yeah.
But I think our Rhodey has been Rhodey. Dude, you know what would be trippy? A trippy reveal that I think would be sick. We're like talking on the phone to Fury's wife, and then we see that it is Rhodey, and he's talking on the phone with Gravik.
Yeah.
And then we're following Fury, and he meets up with Rhodey. So then we're like, wait, there's two Rhodys?
You were just talking on the phone with him.
And then we're like, we're like, there's two Rhodys? Which one's real?
Yeah, and then we see a real Scrody. Whoa. That's what I'm calling him, Scrody, dude. Scroll Rhodey. So, Scrody, I could see how that would be useful, though. Like, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think there's room for that to be like a really cool reveal, like...
But, I mean, in closing thoughts, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought the writing was great. The humor was timed well. Characters felt like themselves, which was good. Like, Fury felt like old Fury. The action, there wasn't much action, like physical action, but we did get to see a pretty cool interrogation scene. Some new ground for Marvel, really.
Yeah,
going
no
in
joke.
A little bit more of a darker direction.
Yeah, I like that the action in this is pretty swift.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't drag.
It's not like a drawn out, and you would expect that with Fury. He gets the job done. Mm-hmm. Like those two scrolls each have, and pop, pop, 2 shots, they're down.
Yeah, that's a very good point. The next thing is, this sounds terrible, but I wanted that nuke to explode only because
it would be.
They were talking about like the world's heroes getting involved, and I think that would add a whole nother dynamic to it.
Yeah.
Like not only will World War III start, but now heroes have to pick a side and who's going to fight with who.
Yeah, it'd be like Civil War with a twist. Like
like even like governments fighting against each other, not just heroes. So in a world where they just recovered from the blip, like now governments are firing nukes at each other, like that had a whole different element. But anyway, overall I love this episode. I mean, I'd give it like a 10 out of 10 almost. It was really good.
It was really fun to watch, man, the whole time through.
Yeah. But anyway, let us know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.